Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the monkey feet to train your pelvic elevators. This exercise is specifically going to target the anterior fibers of the pelvic elevator, so muscles such as your quadratus lumborum and your internal and external obliques. For it, we are going to need something to elevate the non-working limb, so something like either a plyo box, an aerobic stepper, just something to elevate the non-working limb. And if you do have poor balance, you can use something like a dowel rod for support. In terms of the setup position, you want to be standing off to the side of the box, and you want to take the non-working leg, and you're going to place it on the actual box. Then, with the working leg, what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and step up, and you're going to bring the hip into extension by bringing the leg back, and adduction by crossing the midline. Then, with regard to the same side arm of the leg that you're working, you're going to go into maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation, and then go into flexion so that the bicep is in line with the ear. You want to create as much space as possible between the rib cage and the iliac crest. And then in terms of the actual execution of the exercise itself, we are going to elevate the iliac crest, and we want to try and compress that space as much as possible. And that is the actual execution of the exercise itself. Now we're going to go into a couple of common mistakes. Mistake number one is when you're performing the exercise, you keep going back down to the ground and then back up. This is a pelvic elevator exercise. It is not a quadricep exercise. So the working leg, we want to maintain it straight the entire time. Mistake number two is picking a weight that is too heavy that you have to jerk and use a lot of momentum to get the weight up. You want to pick a weight that's appropriate enough that when you're performing it, it allows you to isolate the hip as best as possible. Mistake number three is allowing the leg to go in the midline. If it's in the midline, we're going to target more of the middle fibers. And if we go too far forward, we're going to target more of the posterior fibers. If we want to specifically target the anterior fibers, we want to make sure that the hip is in extension and adduction. And then the final mistake when performing the exercise is not keeping the arm elevated. If we keep the arm down, we're going to lose some of the myofascial tension on the lateral fibers. So when you're performing the exercise, hip in extension and adduction, arm, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation, bicep in line with arm, and then compress the distance between the rib cage and the iliac crest. But that is the strengthening exercise for the anterior fibers of the pelvic elevator, so muscles such as the quadratus lumborum and the internal and external obliques.